Emma was known in her town as the girl who always carried a warm smile. Her voice was gentle, her steps light, and her presence calming, like sunshine after a long night. People admired her without really knowing her. They said she was strong, cheerful, and steady. But Emma had a secret she never shared. She hid her tears in the glow of sunlight. It wasn't something she planned. It simply became a habit. Whenever she felt sadness rising, she stepped outside, tilted her face upward, and let the bright sky hide the shimmer in her eyes. In the sunlight, no one could tell she was hurting. And Emma preferred it that way. She cared for others more than herself. If someone needed comfort, Emma listened. If someone needed help, she ran. If someone felt lonely, she stayed. But when Emma needed comfort, she stayed quiet. When she needed help, she said she was fine. When she felt alone, she forced a smile because she didn't want to trouble anyone. It was easier to be the strong one. At least, that's what she believed. One afternoon, Emma walked to the quiet park near her home. It was her favorite place: white trees, a small pond, and patches of sunlight that felt like soft blankets on her skin. She sat on her usual bench and lifted her face to the warm sky, letting it hide the tears that were threatening to escape. She didn't notice that someone else was there. A soft voice broke the silence. "You always look at the sun like it's telling you a secret." Emma blinked and quickly wiped her eyes before turning. Standing a few steps away was a young man with gentle brown eyes and a calm expression. His name was Daniel. Emma straightened herself and forced her usual polite smile. "I just like the sunlight," she said. "It helps me breathe." Daniel nodded, though something in his eyes said he saw more than she meant to reveal. He didn't push her. He didn't ask any uncomfortable questions. Instead, he sat down a little distance away, giving her space but also quietly offering company. They sat together in peaceful silence. Emma found the quiet strangely comforting. She didn't feel the need to perform or pretend. Daniel didn't expect anything from her, not a smile, not a joke, not a story. He simply existed beside her, and for Emma, that was new. After a few moments, he spoke again. "My sister used to look up at the sky like that," he said gently. "For a long time, we thought she loved the sun. Later, we found out she was hiding her tears in the light." Emma froze. Her breath caught in her throat. Daniel continued, still watching the pond instead of her, giving her privacy. "Some people hide their pain so well that everyone believes they're always fine." He paused. "But someone should ask them how they're really doing." Emma's heart thumped in her chest. She didn't answer. She couldn't. Instead, she stood up quickly. "Thank you for the company," she said softly. "I should go." Daniel didn't chase her. He didn't insist she stay. He simply nodded. "See you around, Emma." She walked away with trembling hands, surprised and unsettled by how easily he had seen through her. The next few days, Emma tried to avoid the park. Not because she disliked Daniel, she barely knew him. But because he had noticed something she tried so hard to hide. But life has a strange way of bringing people together. A week later, she returned to the park out of routine. She needed the fresh air, the warmth, the quiet. When she reached her bench, she saw Daniel again. He looked up, smiled softly, and gave a small wave. Not too eager. Not too distant. Just enough to say, "You're safe here." Emma hesitated, then slowly sat down. They talked about small things. The way the tree swayed. How peaceful the pond looked. Even about favorite foods and silly childhood memories. Emma found herself laughing, not because she was pretending, but because it felt real. After a while, the laughter faded into a comfortable silence. Emma lowered her gaze. Her hands twisted on her lap. Daniel noticed. You don't have to pretend with me, he said quietly. Emma looked at him. His expression wasn't pity, or curiosity, or concern. It was understanding, simple and pure. She swallowed, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't want to be a burden. The words slipped out before she could stop them. Daniel shook his head gently. You're not a burden, Emma. You're a person. People feel things. People get tired. People cry. Her eyes filled quickly, and she turned her face toward the sunlight, her shield, her hiding place. But this time, the tears escaped too fast. They ran down her cheeks before she could lift her hand. Emma gasped and covered her face. I'm sorry, she said softly. I don't usually. Daniel moved a little closer, not too close, just close enough that she could feel someone was there. You don't have to apologize, he said. Let yourself feel what you feel. His voice was calm, warm, steady. Emma let her hands fall slowly. She cried quietly, softly, gently. Not out of despair, but out of relief. For the first time in years, she wasn't hiding in the sunlight. She wasn't forcing a smile. She wasn't pretending to be strong. She was simply Emma. When her tears finally slowed, she let out a shaky breath. I didn't know I needed that, she whispered. Daniel smiled. We all need someone who sees us. He paused. And you deserve that too. Emma looked at him, her heart settling into a softer rhythm. She had spent so long being everyone's support, that she had forgotten she needed support too. Over the next weeks, Emma learned how to let people in, slowly, gently, carefully. She still loved the sunlight. But she no longer used it to hide. She learned to speak honestly. I'm tired today. I need a moment. I feel sad, and that's okay. Daniel became a true friend, someone who respected her boundaries but stayed close enough to remind her she was not alone. Emma realized something powerful. Strength wasn't pretending to be unshakable. Strength was being able to say, I'm hurting, and allowing someone to hear it. She didn't stop smiling. Her smile was still warm, still bright, still beautiful. But now it was real. Not a mask. Not a shield. A truth. And Emma discovered that life felt lighter when she didn't carry everything alone. The girl who once hid her tears in the glow of sunlight no longer needed the sun to disguise her pain. She learned that true light, the kind that heals, the kind that lasts, comes from being seen, being understood, and being accepted exactly as she is.